Hi, everyone. I am Victor Idoko. I am a financial advisor at CFV Advisory, and I'm looking forward to the online prosperity show. In this episode, we're going to be talking about a bit about my background. We're going to be talking about what financial planning is. We'll give an example as how I've helped a client and just the good ways you can actually gain good habits or reduce your bad habits.
Now, welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show, your premium destination for exclusive insights into the journeys of remarkable individuals shaping our world. I'm your host, ProsperityShow, and today we're in for a treat as we're going to dive into the life and career of a man who transitioned from, let's say, a structured banking job to now a dynamic realm of entrepreneurial financial planning. Now, Victor, how are you doing?
Yes, I am doing good. Prosper, thanks for having me on the show. I'm looking forward towards this.
Oh, fantastic. Well, the pleasure is all mine. But you know something, before we get really excited, I know there's something that you want to tell us real quickly, and then we can jump straight into the meat of the episode today.
Yes, for sure. So for myself, I am a financial planner, and whatever I say, if we talk about strategies, can be used in terms of advice. I just want to say whatever we discuss today is general advice. I do not know your personal circumstances, so I cannot be giving you personal advice. If you need some personal advice, definitely reach out to us. We'll be sure to understand your situation, then give you some tailored personal advice.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Now that we've got all the legalese out of the way, let's have some fun. I mean, for our viewers right now, I just want you to imagine, having maybe deciding what you're going to do with your life and then eventually taking up finance, only thinking it was going to be a little bit less studying than what other options were available. But that's not the case with Victor there. He found himself immersed in learning for over 16 years. That's a very long study period right there. But as you know, we're always learning and learning never ends. So it sounds kind of ironic, but that's the journey that Victor embarked on. And now he is a financial planner and founder of CFV Advisory, which is a boutique firm that's dedicated to helping individuals build wealth, retire comfortably, and make informed financial decisions. And Victor specializes in guiding time-poor professionals and also small business owners like yourself to simplify the complexities of money and aligning it with your own purpose. Now, with over a decade of experience, he actually delivers clear, practical advice that empowers clients to act confidently. And he also hosts his own podcast, Elevate Your Wealth, which I will be putting all those links in the show notes below so that you can start your own journey to learn how you can, obviously start investing with confidence. And there in his podcast, he shares real stories and expert insights to help people lead more rewarding and fulfilling lives. So I can't wait to jump into this. It's been a long time in the making. And, obviously whenever money is involved, it's quite an exciting conversation. But Victor, I mean, obviously, Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. 16 years of studying. You could have stopped at some point. Why did you keep going?
Yeah, so I think one of the things I found out later on is that, look, I do love the knowledge. And one thing with finance, and I think just economics and accounting, which is kind of all the things I've studied, is very practical, So it's like you learn something and you can apply it. I'm like, okay, this sounds like fun. And then I just kept going because there's still a lot to learn. The more I learn, the more I find out there is a lot more out there to learn. And so, yeah, it's been 16 years. It's gone so quickly, but I've learned a lot and still eager to learn a lot so I can actually help my clients because the more I know, the more I can help my clients, the more I can help those around me as well.
Absolutely. But what's there to learn about money? It's just dollars and cents, right? I mean, seriously, 16 years is
Yeah, it's a long time, and again, and people just say it's just money, but look, there's so many facets and so many aspects of money, even just thinking about the economics of the way things work alone, that's a totally different topic and a minefield, because what are the economics of the Australian economy? What are the economics of the world? By the time you even start throwing in different aspects in the world, okay, how do third world countries work versus first world countries? All those have different economies and they have different levers you can pull, and that really impacts investing, impacts the way you think about things. To me, it should also impact the way people should think about their careers and how they can make themselves, or to put themselves in the right context to grow. So, that's just one part. By the time we go into finance as well, what are the different ways you can finance a certain entity? Sometimes people don't look at themselves as an entity. The way you finance yourself, and when I say finance yourself, how do you finance your lifestyle? How do you finance your mortgage? How do you finance your business? How do you finance your holidays? All those are then a different aspect as well, other than the economics of things. And then by the time you go into the accounting and then the cash flow, and then the legal aspects, and when I say legal, the financial legal aspects that we need to understand, it's huge. It's a lot. So it's a very broad place to be in, but it's very, very rewarding as well, because by the time you put all of those together, because you understand all of that, you're really helping people in a huge way. And sometimes it's hard for people to really see that, because me that have gone through all that, the 16 years of studies, I understand all that, and it's narrowing it down to people. And sometimes we make it so simple that they think is too simple to too simple to get help for, but you definitely need help with things like that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just like with anything, money is a system, and whenever a system is involved, there's definitely people that have figured out how to make the system work, and the advantages and things of that nature. So hence experts like yourself. And now that you've told us you've gone into learning this for 16 years, I'm just starting to think, what hope do everyday people have, to in order for them to master finances? But how did you get involved with this? I mean, putting away such a large chunk of your time, there must have been some sort of aspiration growing up, and maybe things of that nature that would have just given you that foresight that this is something that's worth pursuing.
Yeah, so I think basically, look, I've always been a person that just wanted to try to be the best I can, and I think that has led to me studying a lot, because I know there is a setting, or rather, there's setting aspects that come, or the three E's, and the three E's really make you a professional, that make you the best you can be, which is education, exposure, experience. Okay, so most people, you can really the one lever you can really pull a lot is that education. The more educated you are, the more opportunities you get, and the more help you can actually deliver to people. While as things like exposure and things like experience, they come over time, and you can't really fast track that as much as studies and education. And especially when you deal with something that's very practical, like money is practical. We all have to deal with money one way or the other. It definitely makes it very fun and intriguing for me to just keep going, and throw in different dynamics, like super environments, which is very complex. The tax implications, the nomination, legal, estate planning implications as well. All those are just minefields that good advisors should know and continue to educate themselves on in.
But what fascinates me, Victor, is not only is this something you've had to learn, you started off in a whole complete different monetary system. Maybe give us a glimpse into what it was like, growing up yourself.
Yeah, so I was born in Nigeria, and I moved here about 16 years ago. Here, being Australia, and in Nigeria, the economics and the way money works is a lot different. So I think coming from there and seeing what is here gives me a little bit more of a better understanding of the way both systems work, and really understand that sometimes where you are in the structure really helps, or puts you at a certain disadvantage. Okay, so that way it really gets me understanding things deeper than someone that hasn't been through both systems of money or both systems of economics.
You see, I'm from Zimbabwe, and by the time I came here, Victor, we had like I think we had $1 million note. And as soon as I rocked up in the streets of Melbourne, I was tipping $100 because to me, in my brain, so you can see what was life like for you growing up in in Nigeria.
Yeah, so look, I think life was amazing. I think I was blessed to be in a family that cared and could provide for us, which was good and could keep us safe as well. So life in Nigeria was definitely very, very interesting. It was very hard. However, ignorance is bliss, right? Because back then it didn't feel hard, but moving to another country and seeing how things are a little bit easier, you then really understand, okay, well, whoa, that was hard, but I was going through that and I've been through that. So, and just small things like, power outages, no running water, bad roads, think about driving from Sydney here to Melbourne, it's an 8 hours drive. If you do that in Nigeria, it's probably going to be a 16-hour drive because the roads are not bad. So all those things, really help they've really helped and shaped who I have become. Like, just even going back to my studies, do I think I would have been able to study 16 years if I was in Nigeria? No, because the system there doesn't really encourage that. Just makes life a little bit harder for people that want to do that. While as in Australia, it was a no-brainer to me to just keep going because I've experienced a different system that was a lot harder. So in this system, I was like, well, at least to study was a lot easier for me than doing that back home.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, for those that are watching right now, you can also see even behind me, there's opportunity here. And if you can just apply yourself, you literally can just continuously learn. And, the resources are there that allow you to do that. So what was it like when you first stepped, on in the lucky country?
Yeah, so it was look, I came when I was young and I came to study, so it was freedom, freedom to just do whatever I wanted and freedom to explore as well. So it was definitely very interesting times for me. Look, tying this to my personality as well, which is kind of an ENTJ, and we can talk about that later on. We're very accomplishment driven, okay, and we think a lot about the future. So even though I had that freedom, I was always still focused on, okay, what do I want in the future? How can I make that happen? What do I need to do to ensure I'm not putting a detriment to what I can achieve or what I can do in the future?
Now, obviously, this is up to you to sort of let us know about this, but was it easy to maneuver around given the perception that people have about people from Nigeria and also all the things that sort of happen on an international scale? What was the sort of response you were getting, especially
Yeah,
now that you're getting into finance and people are like, oh, wait a
yeah.
minute, it's actually come to the source now.
Yeah, so I honestly think Australia is an amazing place. So, really blessed and really happy that I came here. So, the response was very, very encouraging. And the response that I've gotten so far in Australia has just been amazing. And I know the setting stereotypes around Nigeria and the people from there. So, but and I've never really felt that in my work in my whole 16 years growing up here. I've never really felt like, people judge me for what where I'm from versus anything. So I think I've been blessed in that regard. I know some people that have not had that opportunity, but from my perspective, it's just been amazing. So I'm very, 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 very grateful in that regard.
Absolutely. And what was some of the first sort of roles that you took on, and what was it like for you?
Yeah, so I remember my very first job when I came to Australia. This was when I was in uni as well. It was fish and chips. So I was working in a fish and chips shop, and I absolutely hated it. and not because I shy away from things that are tough, but I don't know, it was just in an environment that I just didn't like. So I lasted about 8 hours, just one day, one shift, and I was like, that's it, done. And funny enough, my next job, which was to me more physically demanding, was me working as a carpenter, and I actually loved that. So that's one of the jobs that I absolutely loved. I really enjoyed my time being a carpenter. We changed the floorboards in the accommodation that we kind of lived in, and we're just helping during school break, which was amazing. So after that, other jobs were strictly in the bank. So I think that has shaped my career and my world at this point in time, because I have lots of experience in different aspects within the bank.
What I like about this sort of journey is, when somebody comes to you, you literally can understand their point of view because you've probably and have been there personally. So if somebody who's like a tradie comes to you and maybe they haven't had that, maybe they say they don't have time to look at their finances or things like that, you can absolutely sort of relate. Now, while you were there, were there any telltale signs, or were you sort of seeing how these people spoke about money, handled money, or were with money? Because it's just a whole different world to the world that you're now sort of operating in right now.
Yeah, so I'll say I say concept or the understanding about money is across several industries. So it's not just in trading industry. I think one of the blessings that I have, or one of the lucky aspects of my life as well, my parents were good with money. So I learned, all right, I got lots of the good habits about money from a young age. So the habits were very easy for me. Now it was the added technical knowledge that just made things a lot easy for me to kind of educate people, and for me to be in a good position. Because habits are one thing, but you definitely need the knowledge, and by the time you have both of them, it's good. So lots of people don't have the habit, because even in this day and world, the knowledge is out there, but sometimes filtering through all that knowledge is a big thing as well. But if you think about it, there's nothing you can't find on Google or the internet, right? However, knowing what to find and knowing what to look for is another skill. But generally, people lack the habit, and that's why I always encourage my clients. I'm like, teach your kids right from the start. Yes, they might look like it's coming through one year and going out the other, but it's very important to actually still just teach them, because that habit is built over years, over decades, And funny thing about that as well, the habits I had were solidified when I left home, because, call it subconsciously or consciously, there was no one to nag me about stuff. So okay, now I'm in control, and I really need to take care of stuff. But the habits were definitely formed at a young age. So most people don't have that. So they need long-term coaching, long-term advice to really get that habit, or use tools these days that actually help them build that habit.
Absolutely. Well, from where I come from, they usually say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but maybe we can try today. What are these habits that you were actually taught, so that we can also maybe learn a thing or two from you?
Yeah, so and maybe we don't know this about money, or maybe they don't even think about it. The aspect, or rather the saving, is a habit. Okay, you consciously putting money away every month, saying, "Hey, I'm not going to touch that," is a habit. Okay, and almost related to a habit of or maybe an unwanted habit of sitting down and watching too much TV, for example. It's a habit, right? Because you're just used to it. Where if you don't do it, life feels different. And what I've noticed, once we teach people the right habits, for example, saving, if they don't do that, they feel uncomfortable. Okay. So that is an example of a habit. Investing is a habit. Okay. Ensuring you're not spending too much, or you're not spending on things you don't need, is a habit. Going therapy shopping is a habit. It's a habit that is built because there's a trigger, and that trigger is whenever you feel sad, you're like, okay, yep, I'm going to go buy this because this would make me happy. So that's a habit, but that's not a good habit that has been formed. So all these are habits, and that really shapes your wealth creation, because cash flow is the fundamentals of building wealth. And the people that have the most wealth generally are not those that make the most money, but those that use what they have very wisely and very efficiently. I always like joking about how Rihanna almost ran out of money. If you think about it, she was making millions of dollars because she was spending too much. So you can definitely spend. Your spending can outpace what you're earning anytime, any day. Even the richest people in the world, you can spend a lot because there's a lot in the world to spend money on. So all those are habits, and once you have those build habits, the rest is just adding technical knowledge to that, and then finances are a breeze.
But and thank you so much for sharing with us these, because some of the things that you mentioned, obviously watching TV and saving and things of that nature. I don't know if the Netflix of where you are is the same as the Netflix in my house. It only gives you 15 seconds to decide what you're going to do with the rest of your life, and before you know it, you're already into the next season, and you're already into the next season. You know what I mean? So there's that thing. How can people start training themselves to sort of maybe get out of these so-called habits, or adopt these so-called habits if they were not already exercising them?
Yeah, amazing. So, in my book, my recent book as well, about in my recent book, it's called Seven Basic Wealth Strategies. In there, I talk about how you shouldn't go from zero to hero. Okay, and in there as well, it just talks about if you've never saved and you then want to save $1,000 a month, it's not going to happen because you've never done it. Okay. While as if someone has been saving 1,000 and they want to go to 1,100, I can confidently say, yep, that's possible for them. Okay. So the main thing about all this is you got to start small. Okay. And then you have to build on that. There'll be times where you fall off that habit or fall off the bandwagon, but you jump back on and you ensure you stay longer. So Jeremy, one of my biggest tips for you is just start small, but you have to start and you need to do it yourself. And that way you can build on that. So starting small is a very important thing for building good habits. And, just even relating that to, I'll just say Netflix and watching 10 episodes every night. Okay. You can start small by saying, okay, no, I'm going to set my alarm where I'm going to be done. Let's assume an episode is 30 minutes. So you say, okay, no, I'm going to watch only 9 and then I'm done. Before I know it, you're 9, you're 8, you're 7, you're 2, you're 1, whatever. And I'm not really relating, life or rather good habits to not watching Netflix. I'm just saying, if that's something you want to stop, there's no from 0, there's no watching 9 and going to 0. It's very hard. You need to ease back then. But if you're happy with 9, yeah, keep watching 9.
Absolutely. I was once asked a question, Victor. I don't know, maybe you can concur with this. What's an average TV work? What's an average TV cost? Like in the shops these days, like how much would you pay for an average TV?
Yeah, Prosper, I wish I could answer that. I don't have a TV.
All right, let's just say maybe $2,000, right?
Okay, 2,000, yes.
Yes, let's just say it's $2,000, right? So if the TV is in the way of you maybe making $200,000 a year, right? How much is that TV now worth?
$202,000.
Absolutely. So I think, with what you're saying, I think a lot of people haven't really been, taught that way of thinking, because the time that you could have been working and putting things together is actually costing you, your future, where you could actually use that money for investing. So pretty much after you left carpentry and everything else, word has it that you were seen in some corridors in the city there. What were you doing?
Yeah, so I was in the corridors of a few banks, okay, and helping the banks not looking to do anything else. So basically, I worked for the bank for about 7 years, and there were 2 banks that I worked for, 2 of the major banks. And look, it was great working there because that really gave me the framework to be able to be in my position now, because one thing the banks really do well, they have great systems, they have great processes. So once you're exposed to that and you're able to learn that as well, you take that with you wherever you go and put that in place so it can help you in whatever new role or whatever new path you take.
Yeah, but you'd arrived. You'd actually started working in the bank. I mean, that's where they make the money, isn't it? You could have just stayed there. That wasn't enough.
Yeah, so look, when it came down to what I wanted to do next, back then the banks were exiting wealth management and financial planning, and I was really tossing up what I wanted to do, because I was like, well, okay, well, I don't want to go somewhere else and then I'm in this same situation 2-3 years time, because I honestly thought before then I would spend the rest of my life in the bank, because I liked it. I was like, yep, I can see myself building a career. But then by time all the changes started happening and I knew they were exiting, I was like, okay, well, this is not a good feeling to be in. And that's when I then realized, okay, well, look, we can definitely, or I can definitely set up something. I can definitely nurture and tailor this thing to be one of the best things ever. That's just the plan. We'll try to be one of the best we can be. And then that way I have a lot more control than waiting for someone to tell me how my future should look like. So it's trying to craft and create what I thought would be the best future for myself. And I knew I could help people. One of the things straight away is with financial planning, by the time you help your first few clients, you can just see the transformation in them. And it's like, I just knew I could help people, and I knew I could even help them better on my terms. So to me, it was a no-brainer. By the time I was leaving the bank, it was scary though, very scary, but definitely a no-brainer. I remember calling my dad just before I handed in my laptop on the last day, and I was like, Dad, I have shaky knees. My knees are shaking. And he was like, why? And I'm like, well, I'm going into this thing that, look, I don't know what's going to look like. I don't know if I'm going to get clients. I don't know what's going to happen next day. And he just laughed, said, you'll be fine, don't worry. And I think that gave me lots of confidence as well. Usually he's skeptical, so I was actually surprised he wasn't. I was like, what's going on?
Absolutely. Now, what sort of roles did you take on in the bank? Just so we paint a picture of the experience that you gathered.
Yeah, sure. So my first role was a teller. So I was a teller in the bank, working at the bank, counting out money, depositing money, and giving people money on the teller. Then it kind of progressed into helping people with credit cards, helping people with personal loans, opening bank accounts. Did that for about 2 years, and then did a little bit of mortgage broking as well. So lending. So did that for a few months, and then the opportunity came to jump into financial planning. And I guess a bit on my personal side, I was investing after my first year in Australia, so I kind of loved investing, and I could see how that could benefit. So I always wanted to do something along those lines. So financial planning made sense to me at the time. And after the second year in the bank doing retail banking, I then jumped into wealth management, financial planning, and pretty much loved it. Loved the dynamism of it, and also the opportunity to grow, learn, help a lot more people.
Now, in your days as a teller, did you ever have to write somebody telling them how much their bank balance was?
Oh yeah, lots of the time. Lots of the time.
Absolutely. Fantastic. And I mean, obviously, this is a lot of experience. You're looking at people from all walks of life and, obviously getting to understand them and, work with them. Now,
yeah,
this now must have informed your now approach to financial planning, because you've had the experience, you've gone through the ranks, through the banks. Now you know exactly which facet or which part of banking, because mortgage broking is a whole different arm in and of itself. Financial planning is a whole different arm in and of itself. And you did say the banks had systems and everything was all set up. What was day one after you left the laptop there and now you're sitting on your own and it's now CFV,
CFV Advisory. Yeah, trying to. Yeah, so it was interesting because look, I'm a natural planner. And look, in my life as well, I just plan things out. Like before I jumped in the show, I was looking at my calendar and what I had planned for the whole year in terms of where I'm going, what I'm doing, where I'm going to see clients in Melbourne or the States. So I'm a natural planner. So before then, before I got to that first day, I'd planned my kind of office space. I'd planned what things would look like. I'd planned how I'll try get clients. So the first day was actually really busy because you make all these plans, but by the time you jump into it, you then say, okay, a few things are not as smooth as they are. Just setting up an email, setting up a domain, all those things are not as easy as it seems to be. Like, yep, I've planned, I'll do that, and I'll get that done in 5-10 minutes. So first day I already had a few issues to deal with. I might say issues, just the small things like, the business cards haven't arrived yet. What's going on? So first day was trying to set up properly, even though there was lots of planning, but I kind of planned out everything and obviously trying to get clients as well.
You see, what you bring here is quite interesting because some people just go at it in life. There's a prominent saying in Australia, oh, she'll be all right, mate. To just go to work as long as you've got enough money in your credit card to pay for fuel, to pay for cigarettes and, a night out. That's it. You know what I mean? You figure it out tomorrow and things of that nature. But you're ENTJ personality type, and it's usually known as the commander from everything you've been telling us.
Yeah, I don't like that name, commander, but yes, is what they call us. I prefer like strategist, visionary, or something, But yes, they call us the commander.
Absolutely. You've had everything, lined up. You were planning everything that you were doing and things of that nature. And you even knew a job that didn't fit you only to have lasted 8 hours, which was also really graceful because you did the whole shift and you just didn't realize this wasn't for you. But for some people, they don't have that privilege. They don't have that characteristic inside of them, to figure out how to get things done and things of that nature. How have you leveraged the traits of being a strategist in, and the leadership style that you have in now really growing your advisory?
Yeah, so I think one of the benefits about that personality type is, look, we are decisive. And we definitely know that our decisiveness doesn't come from us knowing everything. It just comes from us realizing that, look, we trust ourselves to make the best decision. And if we need to pivot and change, we will do that. There's nothing wrong in pivoting and changing. So I've always used that to my advantage that, if something comes to my table and I need to make a decision, I'll trust my gut if we need to change it. And if it ends up not being the most accurate one, we'll deal with whatever comes with that. So that is very good in terms of, people that run businesses, because lots of things come up every time and you need to be quick decision makers and you need to be able to understand that, especially in the job as well, in terms of financial planning, the quick decisions that have to be made. If not, you can lose out on certain benefits. Okay. So I've kind of leveraged that by just going with, my personality and understanding that obviously the pros and cons, right? I think the downside of us ENTJs were not as patient as other personality types. So obviously it's realizing that and ensuring that, okay, if I have time to make a decision or if I have time to see things through to a longer time period, I should do that because it's not a natural trait for me. So look, the point there is people need to understand who they are, for lack of a better way of putting it, strengths and weaknesses, and then that way you can get the right help. Okay, so generally I like working with people now that are very thoughtful and very patient in their decision making because it helps me slow down. Okay, and as long as we both appreciate each other's personalities and strengths and weaknesses, is a great relationship. So that's definitely the what I say pro of my personality and how I've used that to my advantage.
Oh, absolutely. And that personal awareness is crucial because so many people are trying things that no longer suit them. And so many people are trying things that are not aligned to their characters. So if ever they're going to try and, enforce or instill those habits you were talking about earlier, it's not going to stick. And so many people would then end up, obviously having maybe wasted their time, money, and effort and having nothing to sort of show for it. Now, given that we're all different, and obviously, as they say, no two fingers on the same hand of the same height, how do you tailor your financial planning strategies so you align them with obviously the unique goals and purposes that each and every one of us has?
Yeah, so very good question. The thing with financial planning is, we help with giving you the advice, we help with implementing the advice and setting the different personalities that come in. Some people are great at actioning things, okay, and some people are great at finding information but not actioning things. So straight away, once we're sitting down with someone, depending on what they want, we can give them one or both of them. Okay. Some people might be great at actioning things, but there's that thing called comparative advantage, which just means you do what you are better at, or rather what you're best at than what you're good at. Okay. So I'm going to relate this to, a surgeon. So a surgeon might be great at actioning things and he might be great at finding information. Does that mean he should do his financial planning? No, because he is a lot better at being a surgeon. So why waste your time trying to find out what super is right for you, trying to plan your retirement, which you can do. Be better, or rather try be better at surgery and get someone to help you with that. So how we tailor this as well, when I'm sitting down with a client and they know what they want, we can give that to them because they're like, yep, we can just help you implement, or we can give you the advice and help you implement, or we could just give you the advice, whatever works well. But generally, we encourage people to use that concept of comparative advantage and do what you're best at versus, trying to do everything, which means that, look, you're losing one of your most valuable resources, which is time. Time is the one thing that makes or rather stops someone from being a doctor, a lawyer, a financial planner at the same time. We just don't have enough time. We're going to spend too much time. We're going to spend 36 years studying to be all those professions versus 16 years.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, no wonder you are one of the most accomplished in this industry and in this sort of space. You are right about time. Time also works to your advantage, especially when it comes to financial planning, because that's where compounding kicks in. And so many people miss out on that, thinking they're going to time the market, but you actually need time in the market, so that it actually really, really works out for you. I once read somewhere that if only people knew, because from 16 to 65, you can earn a wage, but from 0 to 99, you can earn a profit. And so many people are missing out on all those other pockets, right, that are out there, that they could actually take advantage of. Now, for somebody who's watching this and maybe is just going, nah, it can't be like that. And also, Australia and the attitude of tall poppy syndrome, I don't want to be the one that's, out there. And also whatever, beliefs that they have around money, money being that thing that doesn't grow on trees. And they're probably hesitant to seek financial advice. What are some of the misconceptions that you come across that you might want to debunk, especially when it comes to, like you said, seek advice?
Yeah, so I guess the biggest one for me is whatever you want is what you want. Okay. So most people in Australia, you don't need a certain thing. Like Australia is blessed in that way where the few people that say, I need to put food on my table, So when I sit down with people, and generally it's about what they want in life. And that want in life is definitely something that you can work towards. As long as you're not stepping on anyone's toes and then you're not taking or stealing from anyone, I feel like you're allowed to want what you want. And when you want a certain thing, generally is more desirable, or it's in a higher place than you are at this point in time. So you need help to get there. Okay. And there's certain people that can help you. So it's finding the help of the right person that can get you there. Generally, what you want is centered around wealth. Okay. Because for most people is a better lifestyle, and that lifestyle can be provided with more wealth. Okay. So by the time they differentiate, wanting so much wealth versus wanting a lifestyle, you'll be in a better situation to actually get some help and not worry about, the tall puppy syndrome or all that, because it's just what you want, and that's fine if you want a better life for yourself. And I'll encourage people to want a better life for themselves, because it's not a zero-sum game where you have a better life so someone else is losing. No.
Mhm. Absolutely. Now, Victor, on your podcast, you share real stories, elevate to wealth, and expert sort of insights. First of all, what inspired you to get started on this platform? And maybe you can give us an example of a real story that you probably shared recently.
Yeah. So what encouraged me to start was just giving back in terms of an avenue, because I know the people that are looking for the right professionals to work with. Okay, and the podcast is a very good way to explain to people what you do and make yourself available to be found. But on the other hand, as well, is a way to kind of give back in terms of financial literacy. Okay, because when you give stories and when you explain to people how things can be done and how that improves people's life, they can say, "Yes, actually, I can do that, and there's nothing wrong with that." So I think one is giving back financial literacy, and then two, just being able to attract the right people that would hear me and say, "Yes, I trust what this guy is saying, and we can work together. Let's reach out and then work with him." So in terms of stories there, I'll share. I think the ones that usually come to mind now, clients who have helped recently. So currently we're helping a business owner who wants to set up a self-managed super fund because they want to own the business premises in there. Okay, so in terms of the technical know-how to do that, what is the value of the property that should be bought? What advantages can they what advantages can they utilize now to get them to where they are? That is what we're helping this person with. And what business owners should realize as well, once you have a business premise, and if you can do it through your self-managed super fund, there's an arbitrage which you get, because in super there's a lower tax bracket which you would pay. But these funds are coming from your business and then paying off this property in your super, so you get a tax advantage. And the second thing as well, generally, the value of a business increases when you have a business premise. Okay, so doing that can actually increase the value of your business as well as build your retirement income. So to me, that's a win-win. And just explain that to people and really getting them to focus on what will help them. And at the same time, ensuring that you're not making mistakes. With a self-managed super fund, there's so many mistakes people make, and some of these mistakes can actually bite them a lot later on than now. So then my setup, like, yep, everything's going good, but later on, by the time they're moving these assets from the limited recourse borrowing into the super trust, then they start having issues because they haven't set it up properly. So we ensure that people don't make those mistakes. So from the business owner's perspective, and just going back to what I was saying before, now they don't need to worry about that. They don't need to sit down and read hours and hours as to, okay, what should be done? Am I avoiding mistakes? Am I doing this? You're like, yep, Victor's getting this done for us. We can focus on other aspects of the business that we want to deal with. And this is what we do for our wealth builders. This is what we do for our retirees. This is what we do for our business owners, helping them make the smartest wealth decisions to get them to what they want in life.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing that. And for those that are keen on maybe finding you or following you, where would they go on the internet?
Yeah, so someone reached out to me the other day. He's like, "You're everywhere." I'm like, "Yes, that's the plan. We want to be everywhere." So, look, we are on YouTube, so Elevate Your Wealth, and that the YouTube channel is a lot more for our podcast. But we are on all the streaming platforms as well in terms of the podcast. We are on Instagram, so CFV Advisory. That's the handle. They can reach out directly via email as well to myself or my team. So it's admin@cfvadvisory.com.au, and they can give us a call as well. So our number is 02-8080-5517.
Absolutely. I'll make sure that all those links and numbers are in the show notes so that people can actually get started on their journey. Now, Victor, I can't thank you enough for the time and the expertise and the laughs that you helped us generate on this call today, because some people really think, if you're going to have to talk about your finances, and things of that nature. You know, it's a boring subject, but you actually made it fun and you explained it in very easy terms for us to grasp and also to make sense of. But it would be remiss for me to not ask. I mean, you've written a book and you've got a podcast
Yes.
now, but what's next? What can we expect from CFV Advisory?
Yeah, I think I did all those things too quickly. So I should have staggered them, and then I'll be like, okay, yep, I'm actually writing the book next, but actually that is done. I think in terms of what is next for us, we're really trying to just see how we can go internationally, okay, and help people build wealth outside Australia. So I think that's what will be next for us in the next few years. From a firm perspective, look, we're trying to grow, and we cannot grow without helping people. And I truly believe that the more people we help, the more they see the value, and the more we can all grow as well. Because I feel lots of Australians are not getting as much help as they should be getting, and it means that they're missing out on the life which they should be having. Okay, so in terms of what's up next, I think it's just growth and expansion as to how we can help people, where we can help people as well.
Absolutely. Now, this I'm just asking for a friend. I just got a comment from the viewers there, and somebody was asking, would you ever invest in a fish and chip shop now?
Yes, I would invest in a fish and chip shop. So would I do it myself? Probably not. But yes, I think, look, fish and chips is a very important food that people love in Australia. So yes, I would definitely invest. It has to be close to the beach. I don't know. There's something about being close to the beach and a fish and chip shop.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for the time that we spent on the call today. I mean, your life story and your experience really so interwoven so much that it now makes sense that you're the person who's spearheading and showing people how to be doing. Obviously, have proper investments out there. So, I mean, coming from traditional banking to now doing innovative financial planning is actually really help people notice that yes, there is a pathway, yes, there is a learning curve, and you've done all the due diligence and the homework that was needed in order for you to be the one that's showing people. So thank you so much for this, and I'll make sure that all those links are in the show notes below so that people can actually get started on their journey. So if you're watching this right now, thank you also so much. Don't forget to tune in to Elevate Your Wealth podcast. I think they're available on all podcast platforms where you listen to your favorite shows, and just subscribe for more insights and stories that can actually guide your financial journey. And I'd encourage you that if this episode resonated with you, or you know somebody who could benefit from Victor's expertise, please share this podcast with them. They might have just been complaining at the last barbecue that, oh, things are not working, or maybe Afterpay is, not really working towards its rightful way. Maybe they need somebody who can help them really figure out and iron out, their financial pathway then. And while you're at it, if somebody has directed you to this podcast, thank them, because they really do care about you. And while you're here, just subscribe to the Online Prosperity Show for more insightful content like this. And stay tuned for our next episode, where we're going to be exploring ideas to enhance your happiness and overall well-being. Now, until next time, bye for now.